everybody. Good morning. Welcome into another week of First Take. Hope you all had a wonderful weekend. I'm Molly Karam, and I'm here with this dynamic duo.
Whoa.
Jonathan Coachman, Coach Max Bredos. You guys know them from SportsCenter at night. They have their own radio show. They're very busy, and they're taking no shows off because you'll be here with us for 3 days.
I'm trying to figure out how we agreed to do 3 days of First Take and then do SportsCenter at the same time. But that's what.
Because you're hustlers.
You know, we are hustlers.
You are.
I feel like the music.
I don't want to. I can't claim what you did because I took some time off. My mom was in town, so I had some vacation days. So I came in here. Afterwards, we'll have a little beach time or whatever it is. But, you know, so I'll be a little more refreshed than you. But I respect your sacrifice.
Then QT with Mom.
So we're going to come in. I'm going to do the beat down on my partner, which normally I don't do, but I will today.
Thanks for
and then you can
off.
go back to the beach. No problem.
Thanks
no problem. And we're excited to be on with you.
Yeah.
We are excited to be on with you.
All this splendor.
We're going to have fun, right? Who's better than us? And we got this new desk today. We're ready to work. You want to do it, gentlemen?
Let's go.
Okay,
Let's go.
So coming up, our college coaches tour. It starts with the SEC. Georgia's new head man, Kirby Smart. He'll be here. We'll ask him if his star running back, Nick Chubb, is the next Todd Gurley, and much more. But we are going to start with Tom Brady. So this just in, 2 days after the Second Court of Appeals rejected his appeal, Tom Brady wrote on Facebook Friday that he will accept his 4-game suspension and won't take his fight to the Supreme Court. Quote, I'm very grateful for the overwhelming support I've received from Mr. Kraft, the Kraft family, Coach Belichick, my coaches and teammates, the NFLPA, my agents, my loving family, and most of all, our fans. It has been a challenging 18 months, and I've made the difficult decision to no longer proceed with the legal process. I'm going to work hard to be the best player I can be for the New England Patriots, and I look forward to having the opportunity to return to the field this fall. Coach, I don't know where we are now. It's like date 550.
I thought we were going to have fun today. We're starting with DEFLATEGATE.
We are, because it's almost over. What's your takeaway?
Well, I want to go to the middle of that quote right there and say it's been a challenging 18 months for all of us.
Yes.
I mean, we're done. That's why we had to start with this today, because it broke Friday afternoon as people were starting to head into the weekend. And with all due respect to Kirby Smart, who will be on later, this was a smart move for Tom Brady. Because let's face it, if you would have told Patriot fans last year that you could have a run deep into the playoffs, it's going to be an AFC championship, you lose late, and then you've got another year for Jimmy Garoppolo to practice, be around you, and get better, then I'm okay with that. And I think at some point, if the sky is blue and you look at it and it's blue, then you got to say that's it. And I think for Tom Brady, this was a point where he says to everybody, let's just step away. Let's give Jimmy Garoppolo a full 6-8 weeks to get ready, and then I'll step back in after 4 games, and we'll get into what we expect, but this was a smart move for him to make.
By the grace of Tom Brady, Jimmy Garoppolo, you are now the man.
Jimmy G.
Look, I want to start on a good foot. Little off topic here. Nate Ebner, safety of the Patriots, made the Rio Olympics team for rugby. I want to applaud that. That's great news.
What a shock.
I played rugby for 15 years. Really excited. That's some good news around Patriots camp. He's going to come back a better football player. You'll see. I also want to say thank you, Tom Brady. Thank you, Tom, for accepting this so that we can move on. Because we've wanted to move on, because this has left a mark for all of us to cover over 18 months. He didn't admit any guilt. He made the statement, says it's time to move on. So he handled it beautifully. As for DEFLATEGATE and how it's affected us, I think one thing we take away from this, and it's pretty evident, the Patriots aren't very popular in the National Football League or in the court of public opinion or in the big picture of things. In Boston, it's huge. They love them, they take care of them, and they support them. Should you get a 4-game suspension for deflating footballs if you did? No. You shouldn't do that. But the folks, it is clear with Robert Kraft, NFL owners and others were out to get them. They were tired of the Patriots having a set of rules, and they came for them. And this is what this is all about, and this is why this is put down on Tom Brady and the $1 million as well for the Patriots.
You made a good point.
One?
Which is rare for you.
Two. Nate Ebner?
No, I don't even know who that is.
He's my man.
Take away from the day. Drop the knowledge on us.
Apparently so. Again, rare.
I'll make sure to Google him.
So I wrote down the numbers from Tom Brady last year. 4,770 yards, 36 touchdowns. And I'm pretty sure that every single football that he threw last year was checked, double-checked, and triple-checked. So to say that this was a validated suspension, absolutely not. It's crazy. But we're so far past that. I think there's a lot of smart people at the NFL. I think there's a lot of smart people that work for the Patriots. At some point, this stopped being about deflated footballs and started being about who had, the biggest dog in the fight, so to speak.
Yep.
And so at this point, the NFL has got to be saying behind closed doors a little bit, we won. We got what we needed to get.
Absolutely.
You know, and I also think that going forward in the next CBA, you're never going to see the principal hand out the suspensions and the punishments, and then you go right back into the principal's office again to get the same exact. Because why would Roger Goodell change at this point what he already set down 18 months ago? So I think a lot of smart people stopped being smart and started being silly. And so finally, after 18 months, we can say it's over, enough, let's move on.
You have to respect the NFL for digging their heels in and saying, no, we're going to take this till the end. And it would have been a terrible look for Tom Brady if he pushed forward and said, let's take it to the Supreme Court, because people in America are saying, we have so many problems right now, we don't want the Supreme Court tied up with something like this. So it was very important that they nipped it here. But that says, Roger Goodell, look, we're going to go the full distance with this. We have the higher ground. We are in the power position. We'll win. They did win.
Molly, the NFL is your wheelhouse.
Yes.
Or are you surprised after 18 months that Tom Brady decided to say, I'm walking away?
I kind of thought he was going to fight all the way to the end. I'm not going to lie.
Wow.
Really?
I did. And I thought he was going to keep. But here's why. I think he's the ultimate competitor. And I thought this was about clearing his name, more about that and for his family. But I think he probably reached the point that he said, what's the point of this? This isn't going to go any further. And now I'm just hurting my team in terms of being a distraction. And this allows Jimmy Garoppolo. He's in a better situation this year than last year because now he'll have a full training camp. So I think it's a smart decision. But in terms of his legacy, you guys, I know we talked about everybody outside of New England, obviously not a huge fan of the Patriots, the legacy that, you know, they've created there, the dynasty. What is his legacy now with this whole Deflategate? Does this stain him at all?
I don't think it changes him at all. I mean, one thing you have to understand, you also do UFC like I do, as Max does. And in baseball, too, it has been proven the last 15 years, people do not care about steroids, about performance-enhancing drugs. They want to be entertained. And that's what Tom Brady has done. I don't think there's anybody out there, other than people that just don't like the Patriots, that really believe that Tom Brady cheated to win football games. It's just a dumb theory that a little error here and there could do that. So to me, this does nothing to his legacy. In fact, if he comes back this year and leads the team to the playoffs and maybe to the Super Bowl, I think it enhances his legacy more than anything.
That would be something. Look, I roll my eyes a lot when I hear the Patriots Nation, Boston Nation defending Tom Brady. Look, he didn't deserve this thrown at him the way it was. It's not a 4-game suspension. But when I hear the defense and I keep going, I'm like, oh, boy, here we go again. But I think he's been vindicated a bit about the way he's handled it because people were all holding their breath. Here he goes. He's going to push it further. He's pushed it all last year. He's going to do it again. He didn't. He didn't admit guilt, and he said to himself, all right, here we are. I've accepted my punishment. Let's move forward. Kind of what Robert Kraft did a year earlier by saying that. It kind of backfired him in the big picture. So I think Tom Brady's legacy is intact. I think if he performs the way he does, which you have to imagine, chomping at the bit for 4 weeks, the way he is, a competitor he is, it could just make him a very dangerous human being when he comes back in the AFC, where I think the Patriots are right at the top of the favorites.
When he gets mad, Tom Brady is not a guy that you want to have.
Incredible Hulk?
Yeah, he's not going to stop at 4 touchdown passes a game. We've seen he'll go 5, 6, 7. They don't care.
He wanted to send the message was that they had the Colts game last year. He goes, oh, this is they did. And message sent.
Yeah, there's no question about that.
So I think we're all surprised by the decision because we thought he would have continued to fight, but I think we're all pleased, right?
Yes.
Now,
relieved. It's a weight has been taken. I can feel it coming in here.
Me too.
This place goes insane with that.
I'm excited to see what Jimmy Garoppolo has.
I am too, and we always try to take a positive away from it. Working with this guy every single day, I'm a heel at my core. I like to get.
I've softened that a bit for you a little bit. I've seen
yeah, maybe so a little bit. So I try to look at the positive.
Yeah.
There are a couple of people in this whole scenario that are very happy. The lawyers.
Giselle.
Tom Brady's lawyers.
I always like thinking about Giselle.
Tom Brady's lawyers for what they did last year. I mean, if I was a high-profile celebrity or athlete, I'd be going to
how much money
all
do you
those
think
guys.
Oh
18 months of legal fees?
They're like, keep it coming. Are you sure?
They don't care.
You want to retake this? I'm available.
They got it done.
No doubt.
All right, so let's talk about that first quarter of the season. Obviously, the Patriots not going to have Tom Brady now. They start the season September 11th at Arizona. That is a tough one. Then they're at home against the Dolphins, Texans, and Bills in weeks 2 through 4. Max, what do you expect from the Pats with Brady out 4 games? What's this record going to look like?
I expect them to do well. I'm a big believer in the Patriots are a machine. Tom Brady has always been there. He's been the constant. He has been the man who has pushed this machine to new heights. But who is the bigger star here? Is it Tom Brady, Bill Belichick? We might get a clearer answer to that because Belichick has always had a system with this team. And again, this does not apply to Tom Brady, but if a guy starts to break down and the skills aren't where they are, he moves, he makes the adjustment, gets a new guy in there, and the machine keeps rolling where they were able to win a Super Bowl just 2 seasons ago. I'm really curious to see how effective Jimmy Garoppolo is. One thing about Tom Brady, all due respect to Julian Edelman, I love him as a receiver. Gronkowski is the best at what he does, but LeGarrette Blount is a guy that many people could have had as a running back. Danny Amendola, not an elite receiver. Tom Brady puts up great numbers with this group. If Jimmy Garoppolo could do that, if he can go 3-1, 4-0, let's say 1,300 yards passing, 10 touchdowns in 4 games.
You're throwing out a lot of numbers right there.
I know.
If
he can match those, and I think there's a shot. We don't know about Jimmy Garoppolo, but he can match those things because of the way the Patriots system is.
All right, we know that New England plays very well at home, right? Mm-hmm. So I looked through their entire schedule because I believe this to be true, that at some point Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, Robert Kraft sat down in a room and they evaluated this whole situation. And they looked at it and said,
they're smart.
They're very smart. And they said, Miami, he'll take our chances. Houston, no question. Brock Osweiler doesn't scare me. And then you got Buffalo. Can't even name their quarterback at this point because they got 2 or 3 that played last year.
Rex Ryan's talking big talk, though.
You're making
right.
my
you gotta
point.
give him a little respect.
Okay, but is he your lockdown going to come in to Foxborough and score 30 to beat the Patriots? I don't think so. I'm a big believer in home field advantage in the NFL. And I was screaming from the rooftops last year that having home field was going to decide the Super Bowl, and it did. I was right. Denver was not going to win in Foxborough. They get the home field advantage. Look what they did. It wasn't pretty, but look what they did. So now you've got the Patriots, and they're looking at it going, you know what, we're okay. And then the rest of their schedule is very easy, with the exception of they play Seattle at home. Then they go to San Francisco. We don't know how good they're going to be. But playing the NFC West and then the rest of their schedule from the AFC, I think that's it. They said, you know what, this is no big deal.
As good as they are at home, what if week 1 at Arizona, one of the 5 best teams in the NFL last season? What if Garoppolo comes out and delivers the goods as a road team and sets it up? He gets a win. They win by 2 touchdowns. What does that say about the Patriots and where they are without Tom Brady? I'd say that this is the team to beat unquestionably.
There's no question. I think Jimmy Garoppolo, they did not draft him as a second-round draft pick just to have him sit on the bench and trade him away like they've done so many other quarterbacks because Tom Brady has played since 2000. I think they drafted him as the heir apparent to Tom Brady. Now, did they think Tom Brady was going to play into his 40s? I doubt it. But he's playing at a high level, almost 5,000 yards last year. So I think this is also an audition.
He's under contract to 2017, so he needs to use this if he wants to get a big payday. Otherwise, he's not going to be a Patriot after that.
Yeah.
I want to take it a step further. I don't know about you guys. I haven't seen much of Jimmy Garoppolo. He went to Eastern Illinois. He hasn't started an NFL game. I think he's thrown 31 passes in the NFL. What if he goes in and he tears it up? He crushes. We've seen this before in New England.
Full-time starter?
I think that would be the best-case scenario. But there is no way. Just like when Tom Brady...
What does it take to dethrone Brady?
It takes him retiring with a capital R.
I don't know.
We're going to play one word early, retiring. Here's the thing. Remember last year when they were facing this and we had these discussions on if the 4-game suspension sticks, then what? Well, this is then what? We're at the then what stage. And I think they hope he kills it. Why would they not hope that he goes out there and just crushes it and plays well? From everything we've been told and seen, this guy is the next Tony Romo coming from the same area. And that's why you draft a guy like
Jimmy
this.
G's got the great hair. I like it. I'll say this. As we point out, Bill Belichick's very adaptable, and he knows what's best for his team. And if he sees a guy that could win, I know I get shelved as sacrilege, but if you're 38-year-old Tom Brady and you're getting towards 40, at some point it's going to break down. Whether it's this season.
Stop it.
But you don't let him go. You've got to give Jimmy Garoppolo. If he looks like the guy who's your heir apparent, you've got to give him his moment.
Whoa.
I'm not saying he starts.
So I'm hearing this correctly. If he goes out to what she just said, and let's say he throws 10 touchdowns in the first 4 weeks, then you're going to sit Tom Brady in Week 5.
I didn't say that.
You just said you got to give him his moment.
You got to give him his moment for those 4 games. But Bill Belichick will know.
Whose other moment is it going to be?
Bill Belichick will know about this team and what works best immediately. He is a genius with that team, and he might say, okay, Tom Brady, he'll get back here. The rope is shorter. The rope is shorter. I mean, look, Jimmy Garoppolo with that, if he sets in that situation,
crushed.
It's a young man's game.
Crushed.
What do you think their record's going to be with Garoppolo starting the first 4?
I think it's going to be 2-2. I really do.
No. If we were going to go full season.
Full season?
Remember Matt Castle did 11-5
Am I throwing you off with you guys not having the schedule in front of you?
No, I looked up the schedule. I have the schedule right in front of me, and it's not very difficult. It's not, because you got 6 games within your division, and I don't think any of those 3 teams, they all 3 have quarterback issues.
Yeah, Jets don't even have one.
They're they get.
Oh, they get the AFC North though. That could be perilous. Cincy, Pittsburgh.
So the Ravens aren't going to be very good.
At Broncos.
You know, Steelers are going to be pretty good, and then the Bengals. To me, that's not a difficult schedule for a team that is a perennial #1 seed. It's supposed to be the hardest schedule. That's the way it's set up. But because of who they play outside of their conference, I don't think it's a very difficult schedule at all.
I think Jimmy Garoppolo. I just learned to spell correctly. It's 1 R, 2 P's, 2 L's. I think he goes 2-2. I think he goes 2-2, and I think the Patriots have a pretty modest record. I think playing those teams from the AFC North and the NFC West, Seattle, the Rams, who I think are going to be much improved, and Arizona, that'll complicate things. I think you're maybe looking at 10-6, but I think 10-6 is good enough to do some damage in the AFC.
It's good enough to win their division.
Yeah, and to lock up their division.
Yeah.
All right, no question. So we're going to learn a lot about the future of the New England Patriots.
This is the fun part. No more
games, right? To see who's going to take over after Tom Brady. We'll see if he's potentially the guy, which will be really interesting to see. Coming up next, something we all love, the UFC we're going to get into. Brock Lesnar joining John Jones as MMA fighters in battles outside the octagon. This is no bueno. How big of a problem is the UFC facing? We will get into that next. Stay with us. First Take just getting started. Max and Coach.